Do you remember this? Or maybe this? Or maybe this? What if I told you that Google, yes, we're talking about Google, burned through more money on failed innovations than the annual GDP of Iceland? And here's the crazy part. It's not because they're bad at innovation. It's because they're trying to do the impossible. And that is innovate alone. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you why even the world's most powerful companies cannot innovate alone anymore. And more importantly, what that means for you and your organization. Remember when Google Plus was supposed to kill Facebook? Or when Google Glass was going to revolutionize how we interact with the world? Then how about Stadia was meant to transform computer gaming forever? Even with its $45 billion annual R&D budget and access to the world's top talent and near unlimited resources, Google has had its fair share of spectacular innovation flops. But here's the thing, it's not just Google. Apple's first attempt at Maps was a total disaster. Microsoft's Windows Phone never took off. Amazon's Fire Phone burned out quickly. The truth, the era of lone wolf innovation is dead. Today, most transformative innovations from AI to electric vehicles, from renewable energy to reusable rockets, are coming from single companies working in isolation. They're emerging from complex webs of collaboration between competitors, startups, universities, and governments. Today, we're going to explore why even the mightiest tech giants cannot go it alone anymore and what that means for the rest of us. Here's a statistic that might surprise you. In 1985, the average successful innovation required input from 2 to 3 organizations. In 2022, that number had jumped to 7 to 10 organizations involved in a single high-impact innovation. And for groundbreaking innovations in fields like AI or biotech, we're looking at 15 to 20 organizations needing to work together. Take OpenAI's GPT-4. While OpenAI gets all the headlines, the model builds on research from hundreds of organizations and using training data from millions of sources. And it relies on Microsoft's cloud infrastructure. The computing power alone comes from a supply chain involving TSMC, NVIDIA, AMD, and dozens of other companies. Now, why can't giants go it alone? Well, number one is the complexity explosion. Modern innovations aren't just complicated, they're complex. Now, is there a difference? Yes. Complicated systems like a mechanical watch can be understood by breaking apart all of its individual pieces and see how they interact and work. And you can replace any one of those pieces. Complex systems, like an AI model or self-driving cars, emerge from countless independent components that cannot be fully separated, and in some cases, cannot be fully understood. Consider Tesla. Despite its reputation for vertical integration, Tesla depends on over 300 suppliers for its vehicles. Partnerships with universities for things like battery research, open source software communities, government research grants, and data from millions of drivers. So complexity growing at an unbelievable pace for the new innovations. Number two is the speed of change. In 1965, Gordon Moore predicted that computing power would double every 2 years. Today, we're seeing similar exponential growth curves in things like AI capabilities, biotechnology, energy demand, quantum computing, material science. What's different is the pace of this doubling. AI compute coming online is doubling every 6 months. How does anybody keep up at that kind of a pace of the innovation rate? No single organization can keep up. None. with all of these accelerating fields, and they're all innovating at a different rate. And even Google, with its massive resources, has had to acquire over 250 companies since 2001 just to stay competitive. The third is the talent reality. Here's another shocking fact. The top 1% of scientists and researchers produce 10 times more impactful research than the average scientist. What about the top 0.1% of researchers? They're 25 times more productive. But here's the catch. These superstar innovators increasingly refuse to work for just one company. A recent study of leading AI researchers found that 65% maintain multiple affiliations, splitting their time between companies, universities, research institutes, and maybe even government contracts. Why? Because breakthrough innovation requires cross-pollination of ideas and the freedom to explore, to chase that curiosity. So what's replacing this lone wolf model? Well, welcome to the age of the ecosystem innovation. Here are some of the key players in this ecosystem. Number one, corporate academic partnerships. Remember when universities and companies kept their distance because of intellectual property and licensing and public-private and government funding? Those days are gone. MIT now has research partnerships with over 800 companies. Stanford's Industrial Affiliates program includes virtually every major tech company. These aren't just PR exercises. When Google developed its quantum computing, it relied heavily on NASA and academic partners. The quantum chip itself came from UC Santa Barbara research. Number two, competitor collaboration. You never thought you'd hear that. Here's something that would have been unthinkable 20 years ago. Ford and GM are jointly developing new electric vehicle technologies. Apple and Google collaborate on cross-platform messaging standards. Even fierce AI rivals share research and safety protocols through organizations like Partnership on AI and collaborate on establishing ethical guidelines for development. Number three, and one we're probably most familiar with, is open source communities. Linux, which powers most of the internet, is developed by thousands of contributors from different organizations. TensorFlow, Google's machine learning framework, has over 2,000 external contributors. Even traditionally secretive Apple has released open source projects like Swift and ResearchKit, recognizing that external innovation can move faster than internal development. So let's talk about some real-world success stories. Case study number one, CRISPR gene editing. The development of CRISPR gene editing technology represents one of the most significant scientific breakthroughs of the 21st century. But it wasn't created by a single lab or company. It required initial development from studying bacteria at the University of California, basic research across dozens of universities worldwide, biotech startups like Intellia and CRISPR Therapeutics, government funding from multiple countries, collaboration between competing research teams, an open sharing of research findings, and then industrial partnerships to find those practical use cases, those practical applications. The results? A revolutionary technology that's now being used to treat genetic diseases, improve crop yields, and develop entirely new material sciences. What's particularly interesting is that even the patent dispute between UC Berkeley and the Broad Institute ultimately led to faster innovation as both teams pushed each other forward. Let's take a look at the second case study, SpaceX reusable rockets. While SpaceX gets credit, this success built on NASA research and contracts, hundreds of supplier innovations, university partnerships, software from the open source community, and collaboration with competitors on safety standards. Now, that's all great and good, but there's a dark side of trying to go it alone. So what happens when companies just can't get over that collaboration hump and they try to innovate in isolation? Let's take a look at Magic Leap. They raised $2.6 billion, kept everything super secret, refused most partnerships, and ended up with a product that fell far short of expectations. Or consider Nokia's decline. We've talked about it a lot here on this show. They had one talent. They had the resources. They had the market positioning. What they lacked was meaningful collaboration with the broader ecosystem. While Apple was building vast networks of app developers and content providers and accessory makers, Nokia kept trying to do everything in-house. So what does that mean for you? What are the lessons for you as an innovation leader? Here are some concrete steps I would recommend for you to thrive in this new ecosystem of innovation. One is rethink your innovation strategy. Audit your innovation network. Start by creating a comprehensive map of every organization that contributes to your innovation efforts, from suppliers and research partners to customers providing feedback. Look for areas where you are too isolated or dependent on single partners. Next, set collaboration targets. Research shows companies with 30 to 40% external collaboration in their innovation portfolio consistently outperform their peers. Make this metric as important as any form of traditional KPIs like number of patents filed or number of products launched. Create a role, create an interface role. Designate specific people whose primary job is to manage external innovation relationships. These ecosystem architects should have both technical knowledge and strong relationship building skills. So that's taking a look at your current use of outside. Number two is build now your ecosystem. Join industry consortiums and standard bodies. These organizations aren't just about setting technical standards. They're early warning systems for industry trends and invaluable networking and potentially future partnering platforms. Being active in these groups gives you a voice in shaping your industry's future. Partner with universities. Modern academic partnerships go far beyond just traditional recruiting relationships. Set up joint research labs, sponsor R&D projects, create exchange programs where your engineers can spend time in academic labs and vice versa. Engage with open source communities. The world's best developers often contribute to open source projects in their spare time. By engaging with these communities, you get access to cutting edge thinking and can influence the direction of crucial technologies. You can also consider corporate venture capital. Beyond financial returns, strategic investment in startups gives you a window into emerging technologies and business models. It's like having dozens of R&D labs exploring different possibilities for a fraction of the cost. Create innovation challenges, do hackathons. These events just aren't PR exercises. They're efficient ways to test ideas and identify potential partners. A well-designed challenge can generate more innovative solutions in 48 hours than months of internal development. 3, and this is going to be the hard one, change your culture. Reward external collaborations as much as internal innovation development. Create specific KPIs and recognition programs for teams that successfully leverage external partnerships. This might mean celebrating successful integration of a partner's technology as much as some form of an internal breakthrough that was developed. Embrace not invented here syndrome as a positive, not a negative. Shift your organization's mindset from that we must create everything ourselves to we must find the best ideas, best solutions, regardless of where it comes from. Make it clear that integrating external innovation is as valuable as internal innovation. And then share more than you're comfortable with. Now, you still have to protect your core IP. That's important. But most companies err too far on the side of secrecy. Top innovators like Tesla have shown that sharing technology can actually accelerate your competitive advantage by creating standards around your approach. Recall, Elon literally gave away all of Tesla's patents for use by its competitors. In my organization, we give away use of all of our patents for DOCSIS broadband technology and take zero royalties from any vendor that builds products. Next is make your organization easy to partner with. Create clear processes for external collaboration, from standard NDAs to the API documentation. The easier you make it for others to work with you, the more likely you are to be their partner of choice. So, let's take a look ahead. This next wave of innovations, quantum computing, fusion energy, brain-computer interfaces, cellular agriculture, will be even more complex than anything we've seen so far. That'll require unprecedented levels of collaboration across organizations, sectors, and international borders. The companies that thrive won't be the ones with the most resources or the smartest people. They will be the ones that best orchestrate these ecosystems to work together to innovate. Remember, even Google cannot innovate alone anymore. The question isn't whether to embrace ecosystem innovation. The real question for you is, how quickly can you adapt to this new reality? So, what are your action steps for tomorrow? What are you going to do tomorrow morning? Number one, list your top 3 innovation priorities. 2, for each of those priorities, identify at least 3 potential external partners. Number 3, schedule 1 meeting with a potential collaboration partner. 4, review your innovation incentives. Do they encourage or discourage external collaboration? And 5, join one industry consortium or open source project and do it today. The future of innovation is collaborative. And the sooner you embrace this, the better positioned you will be to lead your industry. Remember, no organization is an innovation island. No individual is an innovation island. Not even Google. Now, if you've stayed with me until now, you already know that innovation is not a solo sport anymore. And speaking of collaboration, that's exactly what we're building here on this channel. This community of innovators, leaders, and future-focused thinkers is becoming something special. I've been here we'll be starting season 20 here pretty soon. Many of you have been with me for the entire ride, and I thank you for that. When you join as a member and support this channel, you get access to our private Discord where we dive deep into the innovation strategies. I host a monthly live Q&A stream from here in the studio where I answer your specific challenges. Exclusive access to downloads that support what we cover here in the episode, including a guide from what we just discussed today. So if you are a member, that will be over on the Discord and also available in the communities where we are hosted. And you also get early access to the videos and the articles. And here's the best part. You're not just joining a channel. You're joining a network of people who are facing the same challenges, have the same questions, looking for those peers just as you are. And remember, what we learned today, the magic happens in the ecosystem. Hit that join button here in the YouTube channel or check out our Patreon link below and join us. For less than a coffee a day, you're going to get access to a network that could transform your innovation game. And speaking of collaboration, here's what I want you to know from you. What's the biggest roadblock you're facing right now in partnering with other organizations? I want you to post that in the comments below. Let us know, and let's start a conversation in the comments. With that, Thank you, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.